Good morning, everyone. My name is Meghan LeVota. I'm an ENFJ, and look at how ridiculous this mug is. Hanging out in Missouri! And look at the palm trees in the background. So, yeah, Missouri definitely has palm trees. I would like to talk to you guys today about FE and how it seeks understanding. And FE seeks understanding in a way that is completely different from how FI seeks understanding because of how FE is so intimately connected with TI. So something that my ENFP friend has told me before, as I always talk about her, because as you guys know, this is kind of how I learn about the functions, is because when I have somebody that I talk to literally every day that uses the opposite functions from me, I'm always like noticing different things about how she sees the world that's different than me. But anyway, I can't remember the scenario exactly, but I was bringing up a topic. Oh, I think it was something like I was bringing up a topic to my mom, and she like never understood or something. And she was just like, I don't understand why you continuously bring up a topic if you know that it's gonna hurt you based on how the person's reaction is. And I think that that's kind of how FI is that like, it wants to protect its own emotions from hurt, from being hurt and from pain and from other people that aren't interested in what you have to say or whatever, or aren't gonna get it. But I don't do that. I talk about what I want to talk about to everyone, pretty much. And maybe I would be better off if I protected, maybe I'd be a little bit better off if I like was more thoughtful about who I am sharing. That was a weird way of saying who. About who I'm sharing things with and how they might react and if they're a good person to talk to and stuff like that. But I pretty much want to treat everyone equally. That's FE's like impulse or instinct. But I want to share a concept with you guys I think is very FE, that I think a lot of FE users understand. And comment below. Tell me if you're an FE user and you understand this or you believe this. I want to get your guys' reactions. To be loved is to be understood. And so whenever FE is exerting itself outward to try and connect with the person, we're trying to understand with TI. It doesn't matter if we have felt the same thing that that person has felt. It doesn't matter how they're going to react to who you are. FE users will reach out anyway and try and seek understanding anyway. And so, unless you guys live under a rock, there is a lot of political turmoil going on in America right now. Go figure. And pretty much everyone is divided, and a lot of people just are not talking to the other side, not because they don't want to, but because literally the way that we live, there's like cities that are full of one mindset and like the country that is full of another mindset. And it's really hard to get those people to interact because almost always you're going to share the same views of the people that you work with and the people you went to school with and all that stuff. And like, at least for me, I literally don't have any friends that see differently from me. Not because I won't let them be my friends, but because I'm just like, well, where are they? Where are they? Like, they don't live in the same place as me. They don't go to the same places as me. And so it's a huge problem. It's a huge problem when it comes to understanding and harmony, is that there's no understanding there. I think that FI likes to take the perspective of like protecting yourself from somebody disagreeing or somebody hurting you or someone not validating you. But FE, I think, is this sort of force in society that is going to mend this sort of division that's going on, and only FE could do it. And I need to explain a bit, but I'm going to explain why. Is that pretty much without having FI, I am not going to get butthurt by somebody misunderstanding me. And I know politics is like an iffy topic right now, but I kind of don't really know another way to explain this besides using politics right now. Because, like, as a woman, I have faced some discrimination by virtue of being a woman. But if I let my personal feelings, my FI about that, influence what conversations I was able to have, then I wouldn't gain understanding from the men in the situation that don't realize that that's going on or that meant well. And I can't have a conversation with somebody else that doesn't see what I see unless you get past your personal feelings about it or how sensitive you might feel to the conversation. It is FE that is more interested in seeking understanding from the other person and understanding the other person's feelings about it. Then they're more concerned with that than they are concerned with protecting their own personal feelings. Now, if you are an FJ, especially an ENFJ or ESFJ, then you might not know that your emotions might need protecting because you might be getting emotional in conversations or getting hurt by people or getting riled up and blah, blah, blah. But you notice that the FE users, they're still talking. They won't shut up about it. They're still posting on Facebook what they believe. They're still like bringing up the topic at the dinner table when maybe it's not the right time to be talking about it. If they care about it, that is. If they don't care, then they're just gonna, want to not, want to smooth things over or whatever. It's like, what am I saying? It's like the FE users that, even though they might visibly look emotional and uncomfortable and riled up and like they might be crying in the conversation, they might be like, I'm so hurt by you, how dare you say that to me? Or they might be like, oh my God, that was so sexist of you, or like something like that. You gotta realize that they are still talking to you because they want understanding. They don't care how they feel. An FI user would leave the room and deal with their emotion. And you know what? That is a perfectly admirable thing that people can learn from, is that, if you're getting emotional in a conversation, then maybe you should go deal with your emotions. But I think a lot of people see FE users get riled up and emotional in arguments, and they don't realize the bravery that even though I am emotionally hurt by what you're saying, I am still talking to you. And that has a lot of value. And a lot of times people just think FE users are being like masochistic, is that the word? Self-sacrificing, whatever. And maybe they are putting themselves last, but we are putting ourselves underneath the value of getting along. You literally cannot get along if you just like put yourself in these bubbles or these pockets of people that have the same exact FI as you, the same feelings as you. Unless you know those FIs, the thing is that if you stand for something, chances are there are people that will be against you, because by virtue of standing for something, there is going to be people that stand for something that is directly opposite of that. And even though you can respect each other as individuals, standing for that law or that concept, that means that you are against the things that are against you. And so in theory, we can all use FI and all live with our little bubbles of people that agree with us and love us and see eye to eye with us. But at the end of the day, that's not going to be harmony, because as you've seen in our culture, you know, when there are like countries or cities or pockets of people that live next to each other or like around each other that disagree on things, and like war happens because people start to believe that like you are taking away what I stand for. And then the other person thinks you are taking away what I stand for. And you know what? They're right in thinking that. Because if you stand for something, I think the abortion debate is a good way of looking at this. You either are for the right for women to be in control of their own body, or you are for, you know, getting rid of all abortions and like making it illegal. And those things cannot happen at the same time. And as much as we can respect other views, as long as you are fighting for something, they're going to be actively against what the person's fighting for. And some of you guys might be thinking like, why don't we all just get along? Like, why do we have to talk about politics? Well, because if you are standing for something and you're trying to make a change, then like, you're gonna just naturally butt heads with someone that is trying to make a different change. And the only way to come up with a solution that fits everybody is if we can talk about it in a way that gains understanding of both sides. And I think that that's what FE is good for. I was actually explaining FE to an ENFP friend of mine that I just met. We were reading Psychological Types together, just looking at the descriptions, and I was noticing that this ENFP guy didn't understand FE. Like, no offense to him, like, it's really hard to understand functions that you don't use, but I was just noticing a lot of little things of like minor misunderstandings, minor like hidden biases about what FE is. And so I was trying to explain this concept, and we were talking about empathy and sympathy. And here's my view. You guys can feel free to disagree with this, because, you know, there's a lot of semantics with what is sympathy, what is empathy. Look it up yourself or use the definition that you want to use. But for me, I personally believe that FE empathizes equally based on the amount of emotion that is incurring in a person. And everyone's going to have their own different TI view of what that is. But like, I don't just empathize with people who agree with me. I don't just empathize with people that have the same view as me. I empathize with the people that I disagree with. I empathize with the people that I think are fighting for what I'm against. I just don't empathize with them as much. But I still empathize. And I try and make it equal when it comes to my empathy. And I think that is to seek understanding. The goal of FE is to seek understanding with introverted thinking. It's not just to have a harmonious interaction. Well, really it's TI's goal to be curious and to get information, but it's FE to seek like the mutual understanding. So like a TP might not be as great at the harmony part, but TPs, if you notice when they're talking about something like politics, they're going to be asking you tons of questions, and it might seem like, oh my God, why do these TPs keep wanting to start arguments about politics? Why don't they just shut up? Well, it's because they're trying to get their information across and add more information to their view. And you might view that as arguing or being annoying or trolling or whatever, but it's always the TPs that are willing to like comment on like YouTube or Twitter or any sort of social media and comment to someone that they directly disagree with. It's honestly the TPs that have the most, you know, like, I want to say they have the most balls, but I don't like using that word because balls does not mean strong. Like, you know, vaginas are strong too, so whatever. they have the most courage to talk to different, directly talk to, and they have the courage to directly oppose. Because there's nothing wrong with the person. It's not like you're not saying that people have a right to their own view. But TPs have the courage to directly oppose in order to gain more information, so that hopefully the person you talked to could gain insight from you, and hopefully you can gain insight from them. And as an FE dominant, it doesn't matter if I agree with people that are different. And the reason why I'm talking about politics so much right now is because you literally can't talk about this topic without talking about politics, because let me see if I can find the definition for politics as I'm talking. Because there's reasons why we don't get along. And FE is interested in the reasons why we don't get along. Politics is, the definition is, the activities associated the debate or conflict among individuals or parties. God damn it. There was another definition that I was thinking of that I really liked. I was trying to find a definition that didn't include government in it. Because I don't think it's really about government. Something could be political that is not about government at all, that it's social. But anyway, it's about people. Politics is about people and how they interact and the things they care about, the power dynamics and how they get along and all of that stuff. That's what it's about. And so that's why I'm bringing up these sort of examples, because I think it's the easiest to see that the goal of FE is not to, what am I trying to say? FE is the only function that can create harmony in these sort of situations. Because FI is just going to, FI is just going to want to seek, honestly, validation and comfort. And you see that on both sides of the aisle today, and all sides, all angles of the aisle, that FI wants like a safe space. And I'm not saying anything wrong about safe spaces. I'm just saying that it's FI that wants that. They want, and there's nothing wrong with wanting that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be around people that love you and validate you and aren't going to be against you. And it's especially hard when we're talking about identity, which it's one thing to have a belief about a law and be for it or against it, but it's another thing when we're talking about identity if people are for or against you. People are for or against you being valid and you having a voice and you being represented, no matter your no matter like you, if you're a minority or if you're not, or like whatever, like just your identity is, it's really hard to not include FI when you're talking about that, because that's you. So like if someone's against you, then of course people are more likely to get personally emotional, because it is personal. It literally is personal. But like the point that I'm trying to say, I guess, to you guys is that like the FE is the only way to solve the sort of division. And it's not by pretending like everything's fine. It's by continuing to talk about it and continuing to ask questions about it. I was hurt by an NFP friend whenever I was talking about how I was bisexual, and they were like, I don't know why you would bring that topic up to me when you were emotional about it, because you know that I couldn't understand. And that really hurt me, because Because how will you understand unless I bring it up? And I understand, like, I don't get the logic of being like, I don't get the logic of like, this will hurt me to talk about it, therefore I'm not going to talk about it, because I want people to understand my identity. I want people to understand what I stand for, and I want to understand what other people stand for so that we can realize how we're similar and different, and we can actually conspire together or like work together with an idea that could please everyone. And you guys might be thinking, oh, well, that's naive and it's not possible to find an idea to please everyone. Well, if that's not possible, then maybe we can, you know, have different countries or live differently and just agree to leave each other alone. Like, and you know what I mean? Like, it is possible, and it's stupid to say that it's not possible, like, in my opinion. Like, I'm not going to say stupid. I'm going to at least say that it is intellectually shallow to assume that those things aren't impossible unless you've tried, unless you've thought a lot about it. And it's intellectually shallow to assume that the harmony is not possible because it's never worked before. Because I think that the reason why it hasn't worked before is because people get their own personal feelings too involved. And so hopefully this can help you guys understand FE a little bit more and understand that when you get your personal feelings involved and when you're looking out for your own, that division's pretty much inevitable. And the only way to not have division is to be brave enough to talk about things and to put the understanding between two people ahead of your personal emotions. And I think that a lot of people, the last thing I'll say too, I'll probably make a full-fledged video about this at some point, but almost everybody has an ESFJ mom. And almost everybody, when they think about what is FE, they think about their ESFJ mom and they think about how their ESFJ mom treats them. Well, that's not how FE normally works, because your ESFJ mom has a lot of FI feelings and preference about you. And so the way they're using FE, it's very specific to you versus how that they would act to anybody else. And so a lot of people, they don't understand how FE is. And that's why I started making videos, is because people don't understand what FE is or how it works. Whenever people see me like seeming not emotional, like whenever people have commented on my videos questioning like, oh, I don't see FE, blah, 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 they clearly don't know what FE is, because literally everything that I do is trying to seek mutual benefit and mutual understanding and group understanding. Like, I'm not, that's not an emotional process, honestly. Like, an emotions is really different than feeling when it comes to the functions. All of the 8 functions are mental, in my opinion. They are all like cognitive. That's why you call it the cognitive functions. These aren't like matters of the heart, you know, like this is like how we think and how we process. And it's more accurate to say values or something like that, like and to say like your emotions, because just because I'm an extroverted feeling dominant, like doesn't mean you're gonna see me being emotional all the time, because that's what I'm doing. I'm bringing these, I'm having the mutual understanding come before my own personal FI feelings. I don't have FI like you guys, like, I care more about sharing things, even if it might make me a little uncomfortable personally, in order for us to all get along. And I think some of you guys, just so you guys know, I've had a few ENFJs reach out to me after seeing these videos, thinking that like, oh my God, I've never met another ENFJ that acted like me and was as outspoken and blunt as me. Like, I thought, and a lot of people think that I'm an outlier, or that they were an outlier. But if you talk to more ENFJs, or if you start to understand what FE actually is, this is not an outlier. This is literally what FE does. FE is always trying to seek understanding and create solutions that have a mutual benefit for everyone. And it's a completely objective, completely rational function. It is. It's just different than TE. And I think that extroverted feeling, by nature of being extroverted feeling, it's really hard to explain the logic and the facts behind why it works, because we don't use TE, and so we don't really care about sharing those facts with you. We just do it. We just do it. We just try and seek mutual benefit. Everything we do, we're trying to seek mutual benefit. We're trying to seek mutual understanding. We're trying to seek harmony. And it might not look all like flowers and roses to you, because that's not what the pursuit of harmony is, in my opinion. It's not. It's messy. It's messy as fuck. And like, it's brave. Like, you have to take your personal feelings out of it. And like, if your vision of what an ENFJ is this person crying all the time about their life and like their emotions, that's wrong. That's not what an ENFJ is. ENFJs are always willing to put the good of the group or like their values ahead of other people. And since it's pretty much been applied to this point, I'll just tell you, like, I lean to the left. I've been that way my entire life. But I'm just going to tell you guys, just kind of off topic here, that my biggest pet peeve with people on the left right now is when people are putting their own personal validation over the movement as a whole. And I think that, and that's a very FE thing to think. We should be putting the movement first. We should be putting harmony first. And of course, the movement should include feeling personally validated and personally understood. But man, that's what FE does. It's putting the movement, putting the harmony, putting what your end goal is, your end goal of getting along. That is what comes first. The end goal of getting along should come before feeling okay about it. And like, I understand that like FI users are more sensitive and that it's harder to do. And so by that logic, maybe just leave it to the FE users. I don't know. But like, and I think that no function is better than the other, but that functions are better for different purposes. And when it comes to the purpose of getting rid of division in this country or getting rid of division and conflict in general, FE is the function that does it. Because FE is the one that puts solving that problem above themselves, above anything subjective, above any TI opinion or any FI value. Like, I can talk to people that have completely different opinions about things. I can talk to people that are literally, I could talk to people that are like, literally like bigots, like, and it bugs me. It hurts me. I don't like talking to them. It takes a lot of energy to talk to them, but I do it anyway. And like, there was this one guy that used to comment on a lot of my videos that kept saying that I was a masochist because I would self-sacrifice myself or whatever. Like, that's what FE does, is it values this. It values getting along and doing the dirty work that it takes to get along. And that's why like FE users in relationships might seem really needy and really clingy and all those stuff, because FE users know that certain actions are required or else trust is going to be broken and then the relationship will inevitably fall, and FE users are willing to put in the work to have a good relationship. So it might seem emotional to you, but that's only because FE users are brave enough to get into conversations that might make them emotional because they have a different purpose that they're serving. So I hope that this video has helped you understand a little bit more about FE, and thank you so much for watching. This actually was inspired by, I was just doing a one-on-one consultation with an INFP guy. Shout out to you, Jordan. This inspired this video. If you guys are interested in working with me one-on-one to help sort of maximize your strengths and get rid of your weaknesses, I have links below with that information. And also, please join my Facebook group, Personality Typology for Self-Growth. It's free. It's below. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.